Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video, another podcast as well, and another great Chelsea guest. I've had this guest on several times on the channel. He's a brilliant guest to have. I really respect this guy because he sticks to his guns, he cares about what he says, and as well, on top of that, I think he cares about integrity with what he says in his arguments and what he puts across when he talks about Chelsea, and puts a lot of thought before uploading. And that's really an ethic I respect and want to follow myself. So, NiiNii, great to have you back on the channel, mate. It's great to have you back as well after a good run of form, because I think last time we spoke, we weren't at the best time. I can't quite remember, but you know, it's great to be speaking after some good performances.
I mean, yeah, man. Obviously, thanks for the kind words. Obviously, it put a little smile on my face. Wasn't expecting that. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not really surprised. I just knew what we were building towards and what we had to wait to see. And it was quite obvious that once we see a lineup that has all our new signings playing, because they weren't signed to compete with the squad. These guys were signed to upgrade the team, you know? Once we see them play together, that's when you can really assess whether Lampard is doing something positive here, or if he doesn't know what he's doing. So it was just this typical, reactionary responses, which I do understand as a fan, because every week comes, you know, you're anticipating a Chelsea game, you're excited to see the team, you want to see that growth. I mean, of course, but we have to respect how the game works. These things take time. When managers like Lampard, Pep, Klopp, etc. talk about this, they're not making excuses up. You know, this is real life. So I hope, what I'm hoping from this outcome is that now hopefully some perspective changes are going to be had by some people, and maybe some newfound understanding of the game, because I feel like if maybe we were a bit more positive as a fan base, especially online, during that period of understanding, like, okay, you know, we're building towards this, we haven't seen X, Y, Z. I can't really be too harsh on the team when nothing is perfect at this point in time. I feel like maybe our form could have been even better, but yeah, that's my take on it, man. You know that I'm a bit cynical when it comes to fan bases these days.
Yeah, no, I can understand it, and especially the nature of this season, how rapid it is, like how many games there are. There isn't many times this season, I think, especially for Chelsea involved in the Champions League, that you're going to get a free week to sort of think about a game from Saturday to Saturday. You know, it feels at the moment, at least with the Champions League group games, it's every couple of days, and your emotions can change rapidly within a space of days. You could be feeling quite high and then feeling a little bit low after a performance. But luckily, Chelsea's consistency in the past week, since the October international break, with the exception of the Southampton game, I mean, the improvement since then has been incredible. It really has. I mean, we broke our record from 10 years ago, first time 5 clean sheets in a row in all competitions. And that's, you know, if you take out the Southampton game and you put the Crystal Palace performance in there as well, you know, I think it becomes more impressive in terms of the personnel involved in that back four. I mean, of course, we've got to talk about Thiago Silva. I mean, I think the last time you were on the channel, we spoke about Silva as a signing, it being a more pragmatic, opportunistic signing, and the concerns over the long-term sort of longevity. And that hasn't changed. I think all of us expect this is only going to last about 2 years, right? At best, 2 years. Yeah. But the influence he's had, I mean, to me, it feels like having JT back in that defence. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, 100%. I think that was the impact I kind of knew that Thiago was going to have. I was kind of hoping he would bring that, because it was quite obvious that one of the major criticisms from last season was the lack of communication at the back. You know, no one was taking control of that back line. I think that with our team, of course, having so many friendly characters, yeah, it's great. It's why we're so united. But, you know, sometimes you need to have certain figures in a team that are going to take responsibility, that are going to control the group of players, and have, you know, someone that can really just like mentally boost the players around them too. You know, with Thiago Silva, he is that guy that will control the back line. You know, he is going to say, go here, go there, go there. And I think for certain players, in particular Kurt Zouma, he's always really gone to a different level when he has played alongside a John Terry or a defender that does that part, that just allows Zouma to focus on the, you know, pure defensive part, the, you know, acting like the complementary figure for the team, basically. So no surprise that in our defense now, you've got Thiago Silva, who starts the attacks from deep, who finds these guys between the lines, who has the quality to, you know, find the fullbacks up wide too, because quality is the important thing. Over the years, we've seen, you know, inconsistent quality where, you know, certain switch balls, which have to be played just like that on point, aren't being met. And I think we even saw that yesterday from Jorginho, how many times were balls being played off the park. And you're just thinking, there's no surprise that we weren't going to be a top 4 team or a title winner when you have players who are getting the fundamentals wrong like this. So having Thiago there, massive. Zuma, I mean, 1v1, I don't remember. I mean, not many people ever get past him. I think it's very rare to even remember the last time that happens. Aerially, no one can really stop him because stats have proven over years he's one of the best, if not the best, alongside Van Dijk aerially. And he has the pace and he's a good tackler who doesn't give away fouls. And alongside that, you now have the perfect fullbacks you need. You know, if we're a team that isolates the fullbacks because they have to play that important part to help, you know, stretch the play, create space between the lines. We tried doing that last season, but we couldn't because we don't have the personnel who are good enough to do that. Because, of course, when you play a high-level football, you need to have high-level players to do that. It's just the maths of how football works. So now we have both Ben and Reece, guys who are comfortable by themselves, guys who contribute to the midfield because they can tuck in, guys who have exceptional distribution and passing quality, and of course, excellent timing of runs, quick move. You know, they release the ball very quickly. They're not holding on to it. I mean, it's no surprise that when you add all these elements up alongside a composed, calm keeper who's, you know, you can see his goalkeeping excellence already. You know, we've seen some fantastic saves, and to be honest, I think I've just been so used to seeing Kepa making mistake after mistake after mistake. A lot of times when teams have found opportunities against Mendy, in my head, I've just told myself, okay, this is a goal down. So every time he's made a save, it's just like, what? You know what I mean? And it's made me realize the quality that we've been lacking in this area for such a long time. So it's just how football works, man. You know, to improve, you need to sign better players or get your better players working alongside better players.
I think there are small things within Thiago Silva's game, and I think he's the best one to look at because I think, of course, Mendy as well in goal, that's a massive thing, and we'll get to Edouard Mendy because the transformation in that area as well has been key for Chelsea. But I think in the sense of Silva and the knock-on effect of his sort of pedigree and leadership and danger awareness to all the other players has definitely improved, say, Kurt Zuma. But it's small things within his game. Like there was a moment where I think it was in the second half where I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been Emerson was like kicking a ball and it was up high in the box and it could have been one of those dangerous moments where Mendy had to pick it up and it was a looping ball right on top of him. And Silva just literally, and it's a very basic thing, but he just put himself between Mendy and the striker of Rennes. And that's like game intelligence pedigree there, that like years of experience that it's a cliche, but you can't teach that stuff. That's the sort of stuff that JT would do over and over. Why is that player always in the right place at the right time? We say the same about great strikers, right? Being in the right place at the right time. The defenders are the same.
100%. And it's how these guys think and read the game. I mean, John Terry, you know, for me, because like I was fortunate enough to just watch John Terry play like every week, you know, I mean, for me, the greatest defender I've seen in my life, just like an incredible player. Just seeing how he defends, you know, at times it can make me a bit too harsh with other defenders once you see what the very best looks like. And with John Terry, one thing I used to love about him was how he used to think that was the most important thing. You know, the way he prevented danger. You know, he could understand when it was going to come beforehand. And an example of that was, for example, let's say someone's 1v1 with our keeper and they round him. Terry, his first instinct every single time in moments like that wasn't to run to catch a defender. It was to run back into the goal, knowing that, okay, I'm going to make it as hard as possible for you to score this goal right now. And I just think that, you know, those types of, that type of thinking, that's what really boosts the team even more. And I think that influences a lot of players as well. So Thiago Silva can only have a positive influence. And I think to have a guy like this here, now when we have so many like sleepily ridiculous young talented defenders right now. I mean, Mbiyamba, Colwell, Simiu, Gai, I mean, Tomori. I mean, to learn from Thiago Silva, yeah, unreal signing.
It really is. And there was so much talk in the summer about Chelsea not investing heavily on our defence, but we have invested heavily on our defence. You know, we have. But it's just maybe not in the massive fees we spent on the attackers, but we didn't have to. We didn't have to. There was an opportunity there with Thiago Silva. I think he's adding, at least for the short term, and as you've just stated, with all those centre-backs there, I don't know if you mentioned Malang Sarr. Malang Sarr is another one of these players that is a win. I think it's a win-win. I don't know if you want to discuss about Malang Sarr, because I think that's it's a win-win situation for Chelsea, because if he turns out to be a brilliant player, happy days, we've signed him for free, he comes into the first team. If he doesn't, Chelsea are guaranteed a profit on him, and he probably gets sold to a European team for a decent fee. So
Exactly.
it's smart business. It's a
business.
It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of that business. But I think when we look at this defence, when we look at the balance within this team now, and that improvement, you naturally think with the attack we have, could a league title be on the cut, or at least a title charge? Because I know when we spoke over pre-season, you were very confident and adamant, more than I was, in terms of the ability of us to challenge for a title, maybe quicker than we thought. I mean, the Premier League has been ridiculous so far this season, right? It's been very hectic. I don't know if it's about to calm down, maybe, over the winter period. What are your thoughts sort of assessing the nature of the Premier League, but also Chelsea's chances in potentially winning a Premier League?
I do think that teams now are starting to show a bit more form and fitness. I think especially the tactical understanding from a lot of teams too. I don't think everyone's perfect just yet, but it's starting to slowly get to those measures right now. And to be honest, I do think that when we did all our business in the summer, there was a real understanding and preparation of what to expect. I mean, when you're in a position like this, managing a club, you're thinking about the future and how to prepare for it. I mean, every month you're looking at the clubs you're playing against during that month, how you're going to prepare, how you're going to travel, how you're going to plan to do X, Y, Z. So I think those same principles still apply. And, I always kind of felt like, due to the signings we made, because they really complement the system and how you want to play and each other, I felt like this would give us an advantage in the sense that it wouldn't take them too long to understand each other's game. Because, a lot of times with football clubs, I mean, Man United, for example, we're seeing that they just signed the names and the individual without thinking about how the whole team is going to benefit and work with that. I mean, I'm already reading the criticisms about Bruno Fernandes, which doesn't surprise me because, his inefficiency on the ball. And then when you have guys alongside like Pogba and Matic, how is that midfield complementing all the time? It doesn't work. Van der Beek is the solution to that, but then are you going to get rid of Bruno after you spent 54? So this is what I mean. You put yourself in stupid situations because there's no proper planning. And that was one thing that Lampard's, alongside with Petr Cech and other people at the club, all worked together to bring, but benefiting from that. So I do think that we can continue this. I mean, anything can happen. What if we lost key injuries, like, I don't know, Kante again or a Ziyech or something crazy? And then, things can happen. But I do think that right now, as we're seeing already, especially after seeing that 4-3-3, all the players understand each other's game. Everyone's complementing each other. The football's quicker. Everything's more one touch, two touch now, more intensity as well. And I do think that, knowing that we can also invest in January again, something could happen this season. I don't know if we're necessarily, I can't say we're guaranteed to win it, but we're going to be there. We're still going to be in people's mouths come the end of the season, basically.
Yeah, it feels like that. And I think, the next few weeks, I think, are crucial because you look at the upcoming games, Sheffield United and Newcastle, two exact games. I like to look at the games we had against these teams last season and sort of compare how we're doing, if we've improved or if we've regressed against identical fixtures, basically. Yeah. We drew against Sheffield United at home last year. And of course, as we always do, we lose at St James's Park. I mean, Chelsea have a chance in these next two games before Spurs at home to really gain on last season in terms of an improvement, in terms of points return. Yeah. I feel like that Spurs game is going to be an interesting one because based on their form, based on our potential form, that could almost be a bit of a top of the table clash in a sense. And I think then you can get a better judgment of where we are, because even if we win our next two games, there'll be people who turn around and go, well, Chelsea should have won those games. I think once our defence is up against Bale, Kane, Son, then you can make a firm judgment of where we are.